Yes, guys, we are back again here Monday evening with shipping, a sector that not many people look into, but we do every week. Again, overall, it looks really good. The BDI has popped 10% at the level where we thought it would do, 1,300, give or take. As always, like, subscribe, do your thing, and as always, do your own due diligence. This is just my view on the markets, trying to explain it to you. And if you find a good setup, if you find a good investment, perfect. If not, it is also very much okay. So BDI, the Baltic Dry Index, very important here. I will try to do it somewhat quickly because not much has happened in the shippers and the ETFs, but most of it we came all the way up to here, and then we just corrected hugely down over. Wow, that's actually 60% or so down towards the neckline and that horizontal support. We're getting a bounce here. Let's see how it acts. But overall, this could be a bigger inverted head and shoulders in the making. We had that -1 there, and the target has not been met yet. It is roughly up here. So definitely worth, it's a great entry here if you want to get into that index. Again, stop loss should be placed straight below there, but beautiful to see that bounce. And yeah, I really much like it. The BDRY, the shipping ETF, nothing much has happened really, down 6% today. That's actually kind of big, but still totally fine. Again, we're in stage 2 uptrend. A bit of an oversold here, overbought on the weekly, and the distance to the moving average is kind of large. I would just assume that we go sideways here, really. That's how I see this one before we take the next leg up. Let it cool off, totally fine. SBLK looks insanely good still here. We broke that head shoulder trend line there, both flagging higher. This to me is also just, it wants to curl here, let the moving average catch up, and then it wants to go up to at least 25. CTRM, long-term golden trend line breakout there, and breakout. And now we're doing some sort of retest to see if we can hold. Whoa. To see if we can hold that retest there. Again, you have horizontal support, you can see there. So there is actually a lot of support here that indicates that we could see a retest hold here. Again, 30 weekly is still not turning up. So let's see what happens here. GLBS, again here, bit of a peak above that big horizontal level, 2.5, give or take, and now we're coming down here. I think if we go to the daily, it looks like to me some sort of, just sideways to down price action here. Again, to me, this wants to go higher at some point in time. 30 weekly, insanely strong. The big downtrend you can see here is over, and yeah, doesn't look too bad. SB, safe bulkers, I want to remove that. Nothing new here. We tag the golden trend line, golden trend line, golden trend line. It goes way back, and we get a bit of a pullback there. Anyways, to me, still 30 weekly coming up. To me, it is just calling. When it breaks, that is when you should be very, very much interested into it. If you want to play some sort of bull flag into that moving average, sure, fine. But the big one is the break at roughly 4.2. Ship here again into big resistance there at roughly 9. 8.5, excuse me. And if we get a full retest here down to the 30 weekly and even all the way down to the neckline, beautiful entry in my view. Beautiful entry. And yeah, again, it is a bit, the steam is just leaving here for some time. Also, the 30 weekly is kind of stretched. How does it look on the daily? That's a bit of a mess here, really. Some sort of possible double top here again. I think this one needs to at least cool off here for some time before we break higher. Again, if and when we break here, that 8.5, that is the big takeaway. So 8.5 or a retest of some sort of the 30 weekly or the neckline. That is how I would play that. D Nord here again, still after we barely held on here, that triangle, we're just grinding higher. The big level to go through, or the big trend line, is that blue here, which comes in at roughly 380, 390, give or take. That is the big one to go to. EGLE, again, we're just playing with that. You can see here we are coiling straight at that short-term golden trend line here. Again, to me, this looks to that we just want to coil here and want to break higher. 30 weekly should be coming up very soon. Again, go to the daily or the 4 hourly to time your entry. Should we do it? We can do it here. We can look at it. How does it look here? Again, here, a bit of an iffy, not the most clear one here. So let's see how it acts. Could be some sort of double top here again. So we could go lower here, but overall, looking into February, I think this one should be breaking high. If you look at the weekly stuff here, you can remove the noise. Again, let the 30 weekly catch up, and then we could actually break higher. ESEA at double top right there. Boop, boop. The triangle top there came in, and very, very often you see sellers coming in when we visit a flag high or a triangle high. Here in this case, it is roughly at 39. Again, very often you see sellers coming in here, but usually that is just a minor bump down. And yeah, 30 weekly coming up. So I wouldn't be a buyer here. I would wait for that break, for that big confirmation. We have already left that longer term bull flag. So in my view, we're just going to see a minor bump there, and then it should get that. GNK, still overall insanely bullish. There's nothing wrong with this chart here. Golden squeeze right there. Then we had this minor green bad boy there, breaking out, retesting 30 weekly, golden trend line, or the golden line there, and the green line right there. I mean, triple support, and we are now blasting higher. There's nothing wrong with this chart. We are in a stage 2 uptrend for GNK. Beautiful. GOGL, we left that triangle right there. Again, if you want to go to the longer term stuff, check out an older video. Today, I'll just do very quickly short-term stuff here. I hope that's okay with you. Just to get the brief update that has passed, that has been happening for the past week. We're now coming in, visiting that bear flag, the lower side here, in a rising wedge. So be a bit careful here. You can see there on the daily. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we were to break down here. And again, that is when you should be a bit careful here in the short term. Long term, I think it's still okay. We have a lot of resistance here, you can see. So again, it's still, if we get back into the bear flag, that's a different scenario. But for now, it is a big retest kind of thing here in a rising wedge. Not the most ideal, but again, let's see what happens. DSX, again, not the best play at the moment. There are better plays. We are still below the 30 weekly, which is grinding down, below the green horizontal support, which is resistance now, golden triangle there. We haven't broken. So again, nothing new. First off, we need to break that golden. Then we want to see that 30 weekly gets taken out, and then it probably will need to take a lot of time before we go higher. Not the best of the best right there. Boat ETF. We still have a gap here. Does that get filled? It's a breakaway gap. Who knows? But anyways, we are breaking out. And for now, we are just, you can see the candles here, the two very large green candles. And then we have small red candles on the weekly. On the daily here, in my view, whoa, excuse me. It just looks like we're just trying to coil up here before we're going higher. I mean, that's the takeaway. If not, then maybe we can actually close the gap all the way down here. And if that happens, at roughly 30 to 29, that is a huge buying opportunity. 30 weekly coming up nicely. That would be actually a great entry. And you're also getting paid 12% dividends if that happens. In my view, I will be ready right there, retesting a lot of stuff and closing a gap. Again, stop losses are easy to place at that point in time. TNP right now is fighting a major resistance zone between 23 and 24, give or take. You can see it right here. It's just so well defined in my view. And right now we're fighting it here. Should you be a buyer here? No, I would not say so. The 30 weekly is coming up nicely, so we have momentum in our back. So definitely when and if we start to curl higher, that is when you should be looking for an entry, or you can just buy the break of roughly, let's call it 25, give or take. But again, you usually also get a big retest of such an important level just to confirm, yep, this is now what was resistance is now support, and also inverted head and shoulders. So yeah, it definitely looks good when we get above 25, give or take. TNK, we have now reached my big red resistance zone right here. I expect some sort of pullback, some sort of consolidation here. And in my view, you should never be a buyer right here. You want this to cool off a bit here. RSI is going down, prices going up. It tells me that this entire move needs a pause. That's all I can say. TORM here looks overall bullish here. I thought we were going all the way down here, but I guess the situation in in the, what is it, down in the Eastern Europe or the Gulf, I can't remember exactly, actually made it go higher in my view. I think we would have gone all the way down here, but right now insanely bullish, broken out of that bull flag right there. Nothing to be afraid of here. Looks really good. Pays 20% dividend. Beautiful. ISV right now at a double top here from 2023. And again, obviously you are seeing some sellers there. When we get above, the trend continues. 30 weekly, a bit stretched here in the shorter term, but I would expect, you know, some sort of move, pullback then, and then we go higher. I mean, the momentum is just so much in its back that that is still my take until proven otherwise. 30 weekly coming up nicely, nothing to be afraid of. DHT still has not broken our red resistance right there. When that happens, that's game on for me. Again, the level is roughly 11 to 11 and a half, really, give or take. That is when you want to see it here. So we're coming into decision time here, that triangle. 30 weekly coming up nicely. So again, the odds favors a move to the upside. The trend is up, therefore also the break more often than going down should be up here. Like 80% of the time we are coming up higher here, especially if you go into that green double rail and the 30 weekly. That should be a place where we bounce higher. Really looks really good. If you have a position, don't be scared. When should you be scared? When you lose that double rail, in my opinion, and the 30 weekly. Until then, you sit down and collect dividends, maybe. Yeah, 10%. Beautiful. Okay, STNG coming into stiff resistance right now at roughly 65 to 67, which we have been talking about a lot when we came in here. Again, let's see what happens here. But definitely, we also, you can see it here. I think if we get above, let's call it 68 on a weekly basis, that's fine. The 30 weekly is in, you know, is pushing it up here. I think the more time we spend here, the better actually. And then we go higher, just to get a bit of a base here before we can actually go higher. The big golden trend line comes in at 84. So again, if we break here roughly 68, I think we're going to 84 rather quickly. NAT, again, I have one trend line on this chart, and that is that one. This is the golden trend line that I'm looking at here. What's happening here, I've said it 1,000 times. I have no idea what to do with that. This kind of rounding stuff going on there, I don't know. So I'm just waiting for the break here, and then I will be interested. But until then, throw here. For some reason, my lines are not here, but it doesn't matter. We're still coming into some sort of stiff resistance right here, and it has done insanely well. Pays 15% dividends, and the trend is still up. You can see every time we are coming in after the 30 week started to move up, every time we're coming in the pullbacks into the 30 weekly, we are going higher. So until that changes, maybe you should do the same. SIM, it looks more and more, again, not confirmed to me, that the 30 weekly is flattening here for the first time ever since we started to crash. Nice. So if we can stay here, again, in my view, we could have one of the most perfect inverted head and shoulders that I've seen in a long time. Again, that will get confirmed in a few months' time. If that happens, the 30 weekly will come, and this looks like you want to go. Let's do the measured move here as the final thing to do for the video. I think we could actually go up to $38 for this bad boy. That's at least the target there from that inverted head and shoulders when and if it gets confirmed. SIM is very hated. I also think the short, it is heavily shorted, if I remember correctly. But again, all of a sudden, SIM looks really interested here. I'm not buying here, but again, it looks interesting for sure. Against the overall shipping sector, in my view, looks, you know, more or less everything that we looked at is in a stage 2 uptrend. Again, until that's proven otherwise, that is how your focus or your view on shipping should be. So that's it. The weekly update, shipping a bit fast here. I think it's okay. Let me know. And yeah, nothing much to add really. Guys, thank you for tuning in. As always, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And yeah, we will see you next week on the shipping. Yeah, it is a fantastic sector, so I'm not complaining. Guys, have a good one. Bye.